Hello, this is Tony Clarkson from the Joseph Communications, and we're at the Sanctuary again. I'm here with Michael, and this is going to be the number 6, I believe. Is that right?
That's right.
Number 6. And I know Michael is anxious to get going. He's already knows that there's somebody in the room ready to talk to him. There might be one person or more, I have no idea. And so I'm going to hand over to Michael straight away. Michael.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, quite a surprise for me this morning because I knew who was going to come through. It's a little bit of a family affair for me today. First of all, I've got the Persian gentleman who is overseeing the communication. But for the first time, not speaking directly to me, but speaking to you, I have my spiritual teacher, Joan, and I have her husband, Jack, which is a delight for me. Joan she described herself as my second mother, and Jack was also extremely supportive of me during the many years that I trained to be a medium. And so I'm going to hand over to Joan. I don't know what she's going to talk about, but it's great to have her here. She says that she wants to begin by saying that the reason she is coming through is because it places a more human spin on the connection between the spirit worlds and this world. In that, Michael has somebody who was close to him in physicality who wants to speak. And she says that is her point, because she wants to be close to the people who are going to listen to this, to get across the points that she wants to get across. And to say, look, we're not a million miles away from you. We've not evolved to the point that we are completely different from you. We are people who incarnated on Earth. We are people who had families and had close connections and loved ones. But within that, I want to stress that each spirit that comes to Earth has a mission. And by mission, I don't mean what I used to do. I would go to the shops, or I would go to the spiritualist church sometimes. That's not a mission. That's something that fills physical time, physical points from A to B and so on. Every spirit has a mission, a spiritual purpose. The problem is that spiritual purpose is often forgotten the minute that a soul incarnates here. And I won't go into why, because it's been looked at to a great extent by Joseph in his book, The Fall. And the fall has been mentioned by Michael and by Tony on many occasions. And I would suggest that you look at that for the reason why spirits forget who they are the instant, almost always the instant that they come here. But that mission for each soul plays out whether that soul is aware of it or not. In my life, I had cancer in one eye. I had problems with one leg that was shorter than the other. I was clinically blind for 4 years. My husband, Jack, who will speak later, was paralyzed because of an accident, a medical accident. But all this was preparation for what we now do. But behind that pain and suffering and difficulty, there was also a greater mission, in that we were here as a rock and an unfolding for Michael to realize his mediumistic potential, and then to go further than that and become a connection, a conduit for the Joseph Communications material. Now, I didn't know that at the time I was training him. At the time I was training him to be a good medium. But the mission, both for myself and partially for Jack, was to open up that ability so that the Joseph Communications could come through, so that that wealth of information could be funneled through Michael to the Earth. Now, Michael knows and I've known for a while since I came back here, that mission was honed over many lifetimes. And so what I'm saying is that Michael and myself were together in certain lifetimes prior to this one in order to make a strong connection that would draw us together in Michael's current lifetime so that I could open up his spiritual abilities as someone who, as a spirit part of his family, had a close connection with him and understood his vibrational rate. Which brings me on to my second point. Not only do you have a mission, whether you remember it or not, you have spiritual family. And you cluster together in incarnations in order to learn things from each other, to support each other, and to work things out from past lives together. So, although Michael and myself didn't appear to know each other until the point at which he met me in his late 20s and I was in my early 50s, that was just a connection point on earth. We are spirits that are family. Also, there are connections in Michael's life with people from the same spiritual group. His other half, Jane, has incarnated with him before, many times before. The connection with Tony is not by coincidence or by accident. As spirits, these people are working out a spiritual mission. I therefore want to say to you that the people that are around you for a purpose. And you may say, well, I like some of my relatives and I like some of my friends and I dislike others. That is not the point. It is the family connection that draws you together. And within that family connection, through positive moves and what you will view perhaps as negative moves, people within that family spiritual group are learning. They are learning. And with some spirits that you connect to, some people that you connect to and you have had what you consider to be a hard time with, those are very important connections because you are teaching each other. You are elevating each other. Even if you think that there's been no elevation on behalf of the person that you're connecting with, that you perhaps don't like or don't get on with. Now, I'm not saying that you have to put up with suffering for the sake of it because you are each part of a spiritual family group. But what I am saying is that those connections that you make have a purpose. And the purpose, your mission, is always to elevate yourself, to elevate the people around you, to be a teacher to some of the family group members around you spiritually, and to be a pupil to some of the family group spiritual members around you. Michael remembers me as at times being infirm, always being strong, always being warm, but at times being frail, particularly towards the end of my physical life. I am now showing him so that he can describe to you how I am at the moment. Because that shell of the Joan that he knew is just one step in a continuous journey. And it is not, it is part of who I am, but it is not the sum of who I am. It is not the whole of who I am. And Michael can see me now as a shaft of light, blue light, as the tall spiritual being that I am. And believe me, this was a surprise to me when I passed over as well, because I'd become used to that frail image of myself. But my experiences on earth, the things that I went through, took me to that point that I am now at. And it is also a point at which I have decided, with much relief, as will Michael, as will Jane, as will Tony, that the progress onwards does not involve further incarnations on earth. Why am I bringing this information to you? Because spiritual progress is easier from the point at which you understand that you are not what you appear to be, that you are more than you appear to be. At the point at which you open your eyes. The eye is an amazing reflection of God. It is the dot within the circle, which is the ancient symbol of God. The eye is the reflection of what is, the understanding of what is, and the absorption of what is into the spirit. What happens, unfortunately, when many people incarnate, many spirits incarnate, is that the spiritual eyes become tight shut, gone, closed. And it is never considered that those eyes can open, but they can. But in order for them to open, and in order for you to view life in a completely different way, a more advantageous way, a more joyous way, a more harmonious way, you have to investigate. You have to look at yourself in the quiet, in the stillness, and ask, is this all I am? Is there nothing more? Is there nothing more for me? What am I? These are questions that every spirit on earth should ask. And in asking them, you begin to open your spiritual eyes. I look at current events on earth. And from my vantage point, all I can see are millions of souls running around, bumping into the vibrations around them that they have created because their spiritual eyes are shut. Answers are always sought on a material level only. Answers are always sought outside of each spirit, not inside. And the true view of any situation on earth comes at the moment that you open your spiritual eyes. So my little intervention, little talk today has been to try to convince you that you are not what you see, that the people around you are not what they see, that you are here to occupy yourself, yes, to work, to play, to connect with people in family, to look at various aspects of materialism. But these things fill in time for you. You are here in order to become more. You are here to express what you are. You are here to love all things, to appreciate all things, to honor all things, to respect all things, to harm no one and nothing, to become more like the facet of God that you are within your heart. If I can set you off on a journey to discover who you are today, then I will rejoice. Michael and I set off on a journey of discovery. And in setting off, we arrived at certain points. We were able to accomplish certain things. And the true mission that we had, which was to make spiritual information available, opened up. But none of that would have happened if we hadn't set off. If we hadn't scratched that itch that said something is wrong, there's something more to us, we have to find out what it is. And what happened to us can happen to you. Please consider every day at the moment, particularly at the moment, that there is another way to live, a more rewarding way to live, a different perspective that is within you, waiting to be let out.